Hi, this is Elena Tyukina of Knightberg Brewery, located in Saint Petersburg, Russia, and you are listening to Cider Chat.
Hello and welcome to Cider Chat. My name is Ria Windcaller and I am the producer and Cider MC of this weekly podcast. This week we have part 3 of a 4-part series featuring makers from Russia. We'll be getting to that featured conversation with Elena Tyukina of Knightberg Brewery, which I think is pretty interesting because not only is she the brewmaster and co-owner of this brewery with her husband, but she's also a fan of cider and is now making cider. And it's kind of a pretty interesting story, I think, of what she's doing there to get cider to condition and get to the level of quality that she appreciates. So there'll be more on that coming up straight away. But first, a wee bit of news out about in Ciderville. This here is episode 234 of Cider Chat, which means right now there is a podcast archive with over 234 episodes. And if you're new to this podcast, well, first of all, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Do know that I chit-chat a little bit before each episode to give you some updates, and we have an audio snapshot coming up in just a moment. And then we always go into the featured chat. So if you want to scroll ahead, you could always do that. There's probably something on your little podcast app there that you're using right now that can allow you to scroll ahead. But I really encourage you, if you want to get to know what's going on with cider worldwide and get into the glass at a very intimate level, then just hang in there with me as we both sit back and hopefully you could raise a glass with me and enjoy the chat.
Walking through the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet.
Coming up next is a special audio snapshot from a festival organizer with an opportunity for you to get some very choice ciders from the Pacific Northwest.
Hi, everyone. This is Alan Shapiro of Cider Summit Festivals. I hope some of you were able to join us in Chicago this past February. It was likely our last festival for a while. Like so many other businesses, we've had to reinvent how we do things, and in fact, if we were going to do anything at all. After postponing and then canceling our San Francisco festival, which would have been in April, we decided to trial a festival-to-go tasting kit to coincide with our typical Portland Summit dates in late June. We assembled a package that included 8 ciders, primarily from local producers, along with 2 Cider Summit logoed glasses and a new logo bar towel. Many of the cider makers provided small gifts such as pins, coasters, bottle openers, and even coupons. We arranged for local delivery and had a contactless drive-through pickup event on Saturday, June 20th. We also had an opt-in Zoom virtual event co-hosted by Northwest Cider Association. Fortunately, it was incredibly well received and we sold out. It was great to stay connected to our loyal Cider Summit audience and support several of our long-term cider maker vendor partners. Based on those encouraging results, we're back with expanded options for Seattle. We've got 2 different kit options, one featuring modern ciders and one featuring what we're calling bottled classics. Each kit will once again contain a pair of Cider Summit glasses, a bar towel, promotional gifts, and access to another virtual tasting event co-hosted by Northwest Cider Association. Our drive-through pickup event will be on Saturday, September 12 in Seattle, but we've also expanded delivery across the entire state of Washington, and even more exciting, we've partnered with Seattle-based online cider retailer Press Than Press to make the kits available to 48 other states. Sorry, Utah. I hope you'll visit cidersummit.com to get all the details. Make sure you order by August 30 or even sooner, just in case we sell out again. On behalf of the entire Cider Summit team, we hope all of you and your families are safe and well, and we hope to see you again soon. Cheers.
on episode 75, you could hear Alan Shapiro talk more about how he founded Cider Summit and a bit of his background in the world of libations. There'll be a link in the show notes to that in this here episode this week. But what I can say about Alan is he is one class act. When I met him in 2017, I was attending CiderCon in Chicago, so I actually had not one but 2 times where I was able to attend a Cider Summit in Chicago at the Navy Pier. And it was really memorable, primarily because of this following reason. The guy stopped everything before the doors opened to the patrons coming in, the ticket holders, and they were all given a glass and poured some cider. And then he said some words about the day ahead and kind of bringing everybody into the same vibe, if you will, and then had everybody raise a glass and do a cheers to the day ahead, which really speaks volumes about his character and his intent. It's not about just, I'm going to just slam this out and, I want to charge an enormous amount for tickets and hello, goodbye, and not even a thank you. Now, this guy is like 100% there for you. And so that's why I really like the idea that they're offering these kits to go. And you want to get your order in, as he said, by August 30th. So that's only a couple weeks away. And there's 2 different kits that they're doing. One's like a modern cider kit, and the other one's more of an orchard-based kit. And it looks really, really sweet. So check it out. You could go to the Cider Summit Facebook page. There's links in the show notes for that, or you just Google that, or just Google Cider Summit, and you'll see the details there. And it's from the Pacific Northwest, which is, in the U.S., of course. And that quad of states up there, it's more than a quad. It's a larger area. Washington State is like the largest producer of apples in the U.S. They're just rolling in apples. And you have Oregon, Washington, it branches out from there. Even British Columbia is kind of like part of the Pacific Northwest in terms of the Northwest Cider Association. And they have it going on there. There's just really a quality of foodieism, like gastronomic experience in that region. I love the Pacific Northwest, and I can't wait to get back there. I've done some mountaineering there, just outstanding food, outstanding people, and the scenery. There's a reason why they make really good cider. Okay, so the Cider Summit, there you have it. And I think next we're going to be heading to our featured conversation. It's part 3 with the Russian cider makers. It's time for part 3 of The Russian Cider Makers. This 4-part series began with episode 232, featuring Ugly Cake Cider, and that was a conversation with Elena V. She was also part of a cider party that just took place in July of this year in Moscow. And then episode 233 was a conversation with Olga Efremova, and she has a cider brand with her husband Mikhail. They're sommeliers, and they have the OMG, or Oh My God, and also Insider brands. And this here, episode 234, is a conversation with head brewmaster and owner of Knightberg Brewery, now turned cider maker too, and her name is Elena V. And of course, we also have our translator, Maxim Brekek. And I'll be having a conversation in part 4 with Maxim. But of course, in all these conversations, I was recording this with all 4 makers at the same time and have divided it up into part 1 through 4 to make it as clear and as succinct as possible. And I thought we would begin this conversation just giving you a little bit of behind the scenes of what it's like to be recording an episode with someone whose native tongue is not English, and how I, as a podcaster, try to get pronunciation as close as possible as I learned how to pronounce Elena's full name. Here we go. The E is spelled or pronounced with an H. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Yelena.
Yeah, with a yeah, right?
Like yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like yes.
Yeah, like in yes.
Uh-huh. And
Tyukina.
two,
Да. Tyukina. Да.
you're saying with a duh.
Yes.
You're saying you're saying with
That means yes. Right.
Yes.
oh, I see. Okay. Tukina.
Tukina.
Okay. Well, there you have it. I hope you find their laughter as contagious as I did, bringing us into the heart of these makers. And this week, on part 3 with the Russian makers, featuring a conversation with Elena Tyukina of Knightberg Brewery in Saint Petersburg, Russia. You are the chief brewmaster.
Yes.
So you work at a brewery.
Yes.
Okay, that is now making cider.
Yes, we are first
so-
brewery who brew first IPA in Russia.
First IPA in Russia.
Yes.
What year was that?
In 2011, we are oldest craft brewery in Russia. At first, we are oldest craft brewery in Russia, but cider we are making too, and melamel
They
making
make
a lot of.
You have to make 21 variety this year.
Yeah, not year.
21.
Yeah.
From last year, we are doing 12 regular beer and doing 28 other beer.
Other
Experimental,
styles,
yeah.
experimental.
Others, yes, experimental. And now, как это?
Half year,
Half year, my sales department.
Their sales department ordered to brew 21 variety of new beer style.
Maybe barley wine, IPA, a lot of different styles.
How did the Russians like the IPA?
Yes, yes.
Very popular, yeah.
Now it's very popular, but when we brew it the first time, it wasn't popular, and we brew 1,000 liter, and the next 500 liters we sells about 2 months. And after that, other brewery brew IPA, and after that, Craft Revolution started
happening.
in Russia.
Okay,
Yes,
wow.
yes.
I also write about beer.
Yeah,
You know that?
I know.
You know? Okay, good.
I read about
A little
you.
bit what I do, yeah. So that's awesome.
And we started to make ciders in 2014. It was first time when we started. We собрали яблоки.
Picked apples,
Picked apples near Saint Petersburg.
local apples.
Local apples, and doing juice and add yeast, and it was for me it was interested like process, because I'm professional brewmaster. I know how process doing in a beer, and for me it was very interesting how yeast working in apple juice, how apple juice doing maybe aroma at all. And for me at first it was interesting light technology. After that I started studying how make ciders in other country, and it was because I don't have so many time, not have big time, да, because my work it's как сказать, что нету времени.
Yeah, because of workload, she had no time to put into
Her workload?
into cider.
Yes,
yeah.
you're very busy.
And
brewing.
I studied in YouTube, in the internet.
YouTube.
I read, I read, I saw, I heard. It's the reason why I good read in English, but I don't speak good.
Well, you speak very well.
No,
but
no,
you're very
no.
modest.
But I read in English very well with technique hours, как это, технические термины, terms, technical terms.
Technicals,
Yes.
technical technical pieces.
Yes, yes, yes. And I know how, I think I know how doing ciders in United Kingdom, in Spain maybe, in Germany, in French, yes. And I know how I can doing in my situation, and I bring past in French line of cider makers line how line understand. Ну как
French style.
Maybe
In the French style?
I
You
take
know how to do
past
that. Yeah.
past from French style, from Spanish style, and doing the ciders I think in a Russian style, I think. And
What do you when you say Russian style? So you have this broad world view of cider. You've been able to taste some of it.
not I if I am как-то я посетила очень много
She visited a lot of
beer festival in world, but
Right.
I don't visit at cider festival. Now it is first
first
cider
one,
festival.
Cider Expo is the first.
Yes,
So-
and but I know. I know how cider should be for me, and I make cider at the end, с конца как бы, да. Вот я знаю, какой он должен быть, да, и от этого я уже разработала свою технологию.
So she knows what the product she wants to get, and she developed her technology considering
With
the
that.
properties of this product she wanted.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
So
from-
what's the product that you wanted? What that you are going for in your production of cider?
Какой продукт, собственно?
Explain what is your style then?
Конечный сидр, да. I like dry ciders without sweet, with gas, no, with sparkling. Yes,
You like a little sparkly.
not a little. I like
More.
more. Yes,
Okay.
My ciders we ferment about 9 months at the first fermentation, second fermentation, and I doing ciders in October. And first time when I как бы try my ciders, it's months, May.
May.
9 months.
9
I
months.
like.
You
I
give
like
it time.
Like-
You give it
yes.
time.
Like baby.
Yeah, like
a little
baby. Yes.
Perfect, Olga.
I like storage my ciders in a как это inox.
In oak? Are you using oak
yes,
barrels?
only
Okay.
only
Only
inox.
oak barrels.
I only inox or
Wow.
barrels. After inox, maybe
inox.
maybe barrels.
Yeah, they storage in inox, in steel,
Okay, stainless steel.
stainless steel,
Yes,
and barrels too.
And after that,
In the same area as the beer, are you using part of the brewery to also make the
in
cider?
the same place.
Same
yes.
place, but do you have dedicated stainless, or are you sharing the same fermenters?
Yes.
You're
Yes.
sharing it, and so
Yes.
you do your primary fermentation in the
Yes.
stainless.
Yes.
So you must have a pretty. How large is your brewery? The system? How many barrels? We say a 50-barrel system. We say 20-barrel or 30-barrel.
Насколько большое
The
производство?
size of the.
Our capacity is 50,000 liter beers per month.
50,000 liters of beer
liters.
per month.
per month, and
How
about
many fermenters?
I have 12 fermented for 1,000 liter. I have 20,
12.
12
12
yes.
fermenters of
Yes,
1,000 liters. So
1,000
this is a
liters.
large brewery.
No, and 22 and 22.
Well, I guess for Russia, but my gosh, I mean, when I think about that, 12 stainless
yes.
fermenters that are
Horizontal. It's horizontal.
Horizontal.
Yes,
Oh,
like
okay.
for FAS, I don't know how.
Okay, all right.
And 22 tanks, 2,000 liter.
Even more.
And four and four tanks
Yeah.
for ciders. I bought last October. It's 4 tanks, 4,000 liter stainless. It's for ciders, only for cider
4,000.
and 4,000.
For
Four tanks, each 4,000.
16 tons of cider.
Yes, yes.
So you start in October and you make 4 different kinds of
No,
cider?
I make two
Two styles.
two tank 4,000 because we have with beer very a lot of work, and I can't doing when we're doing our ciders. I'm with my brewery brewmasters. We are doing together. It's like team building.
Is this your brewery?
Yes, it's my brewery. I'm brewmaster.
This is too cool. This is
Yes,
too cool.
I'm brewmaster, and I have two brewery and two как помощник пивовара.
Two
Assistants of brewery, and we are together doing we washing apples. Yes, we pressure juice. We working with job. It's good team building for our company. I think.
Can we give a shout out to the other people that you're working with who are washing those apples, just so we could, you know what I mean by a shout out?
Okay, it's Akrom, Alexander, Galeb. It's my yes.
only 3, yeah?
Now on
Are those all men?
All men.
man,
men.
I'm women.
The only woman?
The only women.
This is a little bit different than I expected for the Russian culture, because my understanding is it's much more male dominated and that women don't necessarily have the same opportunity. But you're expanding my perception of that, and I really appreciate that. And I think that's the beauty of, well, this experience for me here today. But I also think it's the beauty of cider. There's something a little bit magic about it in that it crosses boundaries in the way. In the brew world, as you and I well know, it's very male dominated with this.
No, but I think it's not like dominated. Я просто это очень такая серьезная тема, да, поэтому я бы все-таки
Very
хотела
serious
ее.
topic, so she wanted it to be translated.
Вот наша профессия подразумевает очень тяжелый физический труд.
Our profession means that it needs very difficult physically. It's very difficult physically.
Я точно так же таскаю мешки с солодом, с яблоком,
And
дробину.
I also, how to say,
Put the bag
deal with all this heavy stuff like
Мои руки не
boxes.
знают маникюра.
My hands do not know manicure.
Right.
So-
Anybody does this, yeah, you have to.
И не каждая девушка к этому готова.
And not any girl ready for that. By the way, I thought about the same when the last time I moved very heavy things. I thought how girls can work in ciders. It's almost impossible. So yeah.
We are, как мы находимся в самом центре Петербурга вообще.
located in the center of the city of megapolis of huge
Center
city.
Right in the city.
And
Historical center.
St. Petersburg?
Saint Petersburg, yeah.
Okay.
Historical center.
near
Historical center.
the ship Aurora. From the ship
Yeah.
started revolution in Russian.
Wow.
In
Yeah,
Russian.
Do you know the story? Maybe
No.
little history.
Little,
History
Yes,
turn.
yes.
So there is a river passing through the city as usual in all cities, and there is a huge military ship stands there as a museum called Aurora, and the revolution of 1970, communist revolution in Russia, started with a fire from this ship. Yeah, so it's a ship which started revolution in Russia, and their brewery, Knightberg Brewery, located near to this ship. just to make
И очень
clear.
сложно яблоками, да,
Yeah.
потому что там все перекрыто.
And this is
всё-
very difficult to get this lorry with apples, huge lorry with apples, into this historical center.
I bet it is.
Because,
because-
they can't driving
Big trucks or
big trucks.
Right.
Yes,
But you
it's-
must. How are you getting the grain into your brewery? Do you have like a silo that they?
Как вы солод
have to bring-
привозите тогда?
Так, привозим.
Lots of muscling.
We have
Wow.
small car, like
Transport cars.
Yes,
Wow.
but when Apple going for us, it's a big truck. It's very difficult because big truck can't do in kind of center of Saint Petersburg.
It's not permitted to.
Yes.
And how do you
Ну,
manage?
doing, что делать?
Wow. Wow.
But I was located, с учетом нашей локации у нас...
So, considering this location in historical center, a lot of foreign brewers visited their brewery, and this is why they more or less familiar with English. So they just taught it by
У нас бармен в таком не знает 3
communication.
языка.
Yeah, their bartender know 3 languages because
Английский, французский, японский.
English, French, and Japanese.
Japanese, quite Japanese. You must to study the Chinese.
How come? Yeah. So yeah.
Well, you know, Japan is a very rapidly growing cider culture. Very rapid. So that's
And
Is-
I noticed that our brewery is family brewery. Основатель, да, family основатель.
Founder.
Founders is I and my husband. Yes.
fantastic. I'm blown out of the water, and I've never been to Russia, of course, but I just know the city of Saint Petersburg is so well known for being so beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
From my brewery, I see там летний сад, a lot of culture.
You've been doing this since making cider since 2014,
Yeah. 2014
да,
года,
да,
вы
да,
говорили.
right? Yeah.
That's true.
and you have a tasting room, so you're able to serve cider right there.
У вас там есть дегустационная?
Да,
Yeah.
тапру.
Right.
Тапру.
We have
Versus
тапру.
Olga is trying, moving into restaurants, but you don't have a tasting room yet, right? That's so it's a different business model, and the same with you, Maxim, and you're just starting out. But so in terms of the model right now, your business is probably one of the larger cideries in Russia.
Нет, мы
Ну,
не
нет.
самые
No,
большие. Есть.
They are not the biggest one.
Not the biggest,
Yeah,
but
because-
but out of how many though? There's like
How I think,
many?
as I know, the last data that the biggest producer of cider in Russia is a company called Яблочный Спас, and they make about 750,000 liters, almost million.
Are they using concentrate?
No,
No.
It's made from natural apples,
All right.
usually gathered from the locals. I mean, and we have several producers who make about 100 or 200,000 liters also we do not list here those who make cider from concentrate because
Okay,
there is
separate.
there is a lot of
They're
companies. Yeah.
Putting hands up like
Yeah.
no. So already you do have a cider culture
Uh-huh.
where you are separating that very kind of mass-produced cider separate from craft cider.
We want to. By the way, in 2017, there was national standard appeared, which describes naturally made cider made only from apples, fresh apples. So we have national standard described in 2015, which describes any kind of cider made from concentrate and from it. In 2017, we new standard started. Only called
cider.
traditional cider.
It's called traditional.
Yeah, just
traditional
because
cider.
we need a word to
Of course.
separate.
It's not a bad word.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
We have
Yeah.
two standards. One
Yeah,
of
yeah.
concentrate, the
concentrate
second
is
only
traditional.
from fresh.
Yeah.
Traditional.
And now we all thinking about how to make this separation more obvious and
to the market.
to the market, yeah, to separate because a lot of producers used these how to say description of cider made from concentrate to make just any kind of alcoholic drinks where very little part of apple concentrate was used, so it wasn't cider at all, almost at all. Так ведь у нас же делали алкогольные напитки, которые особо и не сидры, но под названием сидры есть
Ну, я
такие.
говорю,
Yeah,
в советское
yeah.
время особенно.
Yeah. No, сейчас.
Сейчас тоже, да?
No,
Большие
yeah,
компании
these
всякого.
days, yeah. So it's just like low alcohol drinks called cider, but they actually no cider at all, even in terms of concentrate. I mean, so it's like juridical.
This is the
stuff.
problem around the world.
Yeah. That's
It sounds like by using the two different names, traditional really immediately sets you apart. I mean, that's a nice way to go. It has a nice feeling. It speaks to the story of cider,
Yeah, that's it.
to your babushkas, you know,
Yeah.
right? That's true. That's the best part of it. It makes it very cozy.
И сейчас скажи, что мы объединяемся, чтобы отстаивать именно традиционные
Yeah, and
понижения акциза.
Our group of naturalists, how we called ourselves, naturalists who make cider from fresh apples. We are thinking about and moving into the direction to make an association of naturalist cider makers.
But there is a current association of cider.
No.
That's me a little bit.
But yeah, we have association consisted of 2 members, but it doesn't work. So
I see.
it's just
Okay.
like, yeah, it's just. Yeah, so this is a steps into the direction of making an association.
No kidding.
Yeah.
The big problem in Russia it's apple, a variety of apple,
Yeah.
sort of apple. Because in other country like French, they have как это груша там, пуаре, как это груша, а? Pear, the как
Do you have
wood.
many pear trees?
No,
Just
I
eating
think-
pears? No pears at all?
I can describe the situation with
Yes,
Apples.
please.
As usual, I recently I heard your podcast with Brandland Cider from Sweden, and
That was
Almost-
a number of years ago.
almost
yeah.
everything he described in this podcast, the same thing in Russia.
Okay.
We almost have we totally have no cider apples in Russia because there were no, how to say, market demand for cider apples. So this is why wasn't selected. So only dessert varieties were planted, and we have no cider pears.
No pear.
Definitely.
And,
Yeah.
мы вчера гуляли, там
Yeah.
дерево 200 литров, 200 лет вот,
Да.
у ребят, они с него собирают. У нас
yeah.
такого нет.
So Elena mentioned that yesterday she saw images of 200 years old pear tree, and we have nothing like
Very,
that.
very few places in the world do.
Yeah, it's
So, I mean, England
Mhm.
and France.
yeah.
And this
that's true.
part of the world here has, I think, the oldest pear trees. And it's not in this region. It's a little to the east. Maybe you'll be going there tomorrow. I
Yeah.
think you're going to Domfronte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to.
Oh, you have
on
to
Sunday.
hug those trees. They're just like,
Yeah.
Let's talk about force of gravity with
Yes.
Elena.
Yes, these ciders we make in 2017. I don't remember about the varieties of apple, but I remember then it wasn't не урожай был, как
It wasn't a good year.
2014 was not good in terms of crops of apples. Yeah. There were problems with the availability of apples.
And it's also 4.5%. The alcohol by volume
Yes,
is still
yes,
at that level.
yes.
Yeah. and you won a silver medal at the Glint Cap, we would call it, Great Lakes. Was there any yeast added?
I add yeast, culture yeast for ciders. I order in yeast laboratory.
Yeah.
Because I'm afraid to make cider without culture yeast. I need control all time what doing in ciders. Stainless 2 years.
2 years
Aging 2 years.
This was 2 years in stainless.
In stainless, yes.
But wow, that's the fact that you leave so much space, and I'm wondering, because you're in the old section of Saint Petersburg, is it down in a cool area, or is it in the brewery, the general brewery, for 2 years? You're leaving a lot of space to make cider. That's commitment.
У вас много места используется для сидра, собственно. Это в подвале или в основном помещении?
У нас нет подвала.
So it's located in main area of cider.
Может быть, сейчас переведешь, я что-то просто уже подустала. Так, это для...
I'm tired of speaking in English, so she asked.
We're almost there.
She asked to translate.
Просто я хотела добиться высокой газации и осветления естественным образом.
Okay, she wanted to get a high level of sparkling, high level of dissolved CO2, and
Clarifying.
yeah, and clarify it by natural way. Yeah.
И я никому не говорила, что у меня.
And she haven't told anybody that she have this cider.
И никто не знал.
Nobody knew that. Who?
Об этом сидре, что он еще остался.
You mean your partners or who?
You kept it quiet.
Sales department.
Because are they in charge?
Yeah, so it was a secret.
Поэтому вот он и до сих пор остался. Он просто не говорил,
so
чтобы
it's
они
like
не
a
продали.
hided cider, yeah. She didn't told anybody to avoid the sales, because in other cases they would sell it.
Oh, I see. So you had to be quiet, but you're in charge. Wait a minute.
Ну, ты же управляющая.
Ну, управляющий, но у них свои KPI.
They have their KPIs and metrics, so it's like a...
Yeah, you have to.
A part of cider they sell, and about 300 liters I storage in a tank.
Wow.
And doesn't talk about the
That's
cider.
amazing.
Yes.
And why did you call it force of gravity? You used the English.
Это название дал мой муж. Сила притяжения. Это идет от того, что там яблоко упало Ньютону на голову за счет силы притяжения. Вот
so this name was invented by her husband, and the legend it's somehow related with the force of gravity and Newton apple which fall.
The force of gravity comes down and yes.
But why it called in English?
Yeah, why in English? You didn't write that in using the Russian alphabet.
Не знаю.
It's
trendy thing.
Yeah,
we want to own the world.
Branding. Brilliant.
As Olga said, we want to own the world. This is why.
А это лучше делать на английском.
It's better to make in English, to do in English.
Yeah.
Just to be ready for.
Right. I'm very excited to taste it.
Здесь еще что важно, да, что вот
What's important here?
в упаковке вот у меня, допустим, пробка держит 8 атмосфер. Она вообще применяется в шампанизации.
This crown cap keeps 8 bars of pressure and usually used in champagne making.
Здесь сейчас 5 атмосфер.
Here now is 5 bars.
Я меряю
Pressure. I measure all the time.
Для меня очень важно safety.
Yeah, and the safety first.
Very important. Yeah,
Very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did open that bottle of Force of Gravity that Elena gave to me while I was still in France. It was a small format bottle, so I thought, well, it's not going to go to waste. And of course, it didn't. It had the overtures of the oak. It was just slightly boozy. And the coolest part of this series with the Russian cider makers is tasting their terroir. You know, you just know that you're drinking something from apples from a different region of the world. And sometimes it's like spontaneous combustion in my head. I'm just like wowed to the moon and back over just that mere thought. I know she's going to keep on making cider, and how much fun, right? How much fun that she had to hide the barrels in the back so that it wouldn't be sold before its time. This gal knows what she wants, and I'm just looking forward to when she could come to the U.S. at some point in time and see all the gals over here and what they're doing out in the orchards and the things that they're lifting. I have a feeling that Russian women could do that too, without a doubt. I have a feeling if you listen this far, then you're probably thinking this podcast is worth your time. So why not become a patron of this here podcast today? You could go to the Cider Chat Patreon page. That's spelled Patreon. Put into the tip jar. Join at the We Like Cider or the Cider Going Up campaign level if you are a professional maker or someone in the cider trade. Every bit of support helps keep cider in the spotlight, both in your perfect spot of Ciderville and around the world. And with that, I leave you here. This is Real Wind Caller signing off for now. Looking forward to seeing you in Ciderville.
We like cider, we like ponds, we love orchards and having fun. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes there is. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes there is. There is a reason why we drink it like this. Oh yes there is a reason. We like walking through the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet. We like cider, we like ponds, we like orchards, having some fun. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes there is. There is a reason why we do it like this. Oh yes there is. There is a reason why we drink it like this. Oh yes there is. There is a reason. We like walking through the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet. Oh yeah. We like cider. Oh yes we do. We like ponds. Oh yes we do. We love orchards, having some fun. There is a reason why we do it like this. Ba-da-da-dum. There is a reason why we do it like this. Ba-da-da-dum. There is a reason why we drink it like this. Ba-da-da-dum. Ba-da-da-dum. We like walking down the orchards, dancing in the streets, smelling all the blossoms, kicking up our feet. Oh yeah. We like cider. Ba-da-da-dum. We like ponds. Oh yes we do. We like orchards, having some fun. Yeehaw!